Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Another episode in our Artosis ladder stories. Today we have a Terran vs Zerg on Polypoint. Feels like we've been doing heaps of Terran vs Protoss lately, so I must admit I was quite excited when I had the opportunity to fire up a TVZ. We have cross spawns, and Artie is playing under his Valks alias for this game, and he is playing against DD. Lots of letters, CM, or whatever the frick his alias is. Always does make me wonder, why do people come up with these very, very strange, random ladder names? Whatever happened to Trevor123? Why do we have to make life so difficult for the poor casters out there? Anyway. Okay, so Artosis has been doing the low ground open in Terran vs Zerg a lot lately. Not going to go for it here. Probably just going to do something a little bit more conventional. He's going to be starting with a barracks scout, and his opponent is doing a 12 hatchery. Alrighty, so what's been cooking, man? We've been having a very, very busy weekend. We've just finished a whole series of games, including a number of Toggles games, and I must say I am very curious to see how those do perform on the channel. Other than that, we have been going pretty well in terms of our growth. I'll flash up a little number here on the screen. This is at the time of recording, and it's a ballpark, but our subscriber base has been growing a little bit. The reason why I mention it is that I've got a goal to try and get to 1,000 by the end of 2026. So if you are a regular viewer who does stop by the channel from time to time and watch and enjoys my content, and you haven't yet subscribed, please do, because you'll be one more individual that will be helping me achieve that goal, and I will be eternally grateful. Okay, so looks like we're going to be running into our standard lair on this side of the wall, and we haven't gone for a gas as of yet, so I think Artosis is going to expand before taking a gas and then progress with his academy and all of the things. And here we go. SCV arrives, and boom, very smooth. Probably not exactly when he wanted it to, but absolutely no dramas. That delay was very, very, very marginal. Alrighty, so we've been talking about some fun and interesting things during the lull periods in games. I had a big rant about movies. I spoke about the Superman movie, I spoke about the Fantastic Four movie, and just I feel like there's so many remakes. I'd be curious to know, why do you guys think they make so many sequels and remakes? It's almost like they milk franchises to death. Like, it's so bad. I mean, Transformers is one that springs to mind. There's many others as well. And there's just no more original stuff. They're just remaking the same movies like over and over and over again. And I'm just like, has the world run out of good ideas? What is the reason for this, man? What is the reason? I want to know. All right, so we're going to be facing a little bit of ling pressure here. We're not making a bunker, so we're going to back our ability to micro this. We are making a bunker. Okay, we hadn't made one yet, but now seems to be the time. There's not really that many lings to be concerned about. Spire is on the way, so our Zerg has just gone with this very standard build, and Artosis here is looking pretty snug, so we shouldn't see any dramas here at all. So I was thinking before firing up this game, we've got a lot of like staunchly loyal Brood War fans in the YouTube space environment, right? So Artosis has 30,000 people show up to watch his videos every day. So there's plenty of people that love this game. And this is quite a sneaky little expansion here. We'll keep an eye on this. But for now, I'll just carry on with my thought. I do wonder sometimes if you guys ever think, well, I could cast. Casting is easy. Because I must admit, before I got into it, that's what I thought as well. So it was about 4 years ago. I was just getting into Brood War, It was like the peak of COVID. So, I mean, everybody had all the time in the world to play games and learn games and watch YouTube, right? So at that time, I discovered the only real big YouTuber at the time in the Broodwar space, which is Falcon Paladin, right? So Artosis cast was still very small then. And I was like, where is he getting these games? He's got Flash, he's got Jadong, you know. And I watched them and I'm like, well, this can't be that hard. And I think there's so much to casting that you don't actually expect. I'm going to watch the Muta harassment and commentate that. And if there is a lull again in the game, I'll come back to this topic. But I think it's just so interesting that there's so much more to casting Broodwar than I think what originally meets the eye. And it certainly probably looks quite a bit easier than what it is. Anyway, we are starting with our Muta harassment here. We have 6 in our stack for the time being. Artie seems very ready for this. He's got his 3 racks firing up. He's got his turrets in a good position here. And he's also got only the 1, now making a second turret in the main. Our stack has now gone up to 7. 7 one-shot, I think it might even be 6 that one-shot an ACV. But you want to have a stack number that can one-shot an ACV. Because then you can really get some valuable pickoffs from this harassment. So here we go. Looks like we might just dive on the turret here. No, it does pull away, even though Arto's units are moving out onto the map here. So potential for a little counter-attack. I didn't see if he scanned this base. It is potentially very nice medic pickup. It is potentially very significant if he does, because pressuring this base is going to be very, very difficult for Zerg to defend. He's making a sunken, so proactively trying to fortify that position in the meantime. Doesn't have any sunkens here in the natural. It is a long way to go, right, and across spawn, so buying some time. Does pick off a Muta. Does have some tucked away hidden lings here as well. Scanning everywhere. So we hear the scan. We don't know. I think Artosis is definitely trying to see if there's a third base. Zerg has been quite cheeky in sneaking the base in the timeline he has. He's going to send a Marine to confirm what's happening. And not macroing here. I think he's got himself... Oh, he hasn't got himself supply block. Just missing around a macro. Attention obviously elsewhere. Our Zerg has potentially got himself supply blocked. Isn't actually even making an overlord at this stage. Just got plenty of money. Going up to Hive already. Oh my god. We got crazy Zerg, people. We got crazy Zerg. We haven't done crazy Zerg in... I don't want to say a long time, because Artie did run into a crazy Zerg quite recently. And he tried to nuke him and he missed. That's the funniest thing. That game's already on the channel, so if you haven't seen it already, then I recommend looking for it. I think I named it like Artosis or something like that, so it should be easy to find. I think JJZ also did a game of Artie where he tried a nuke. I don't know if it was the same one. I don't think it was, just because of the timing on the replay that I downloaded. But that's a cool dude, old JJZ. Somebody else proving that you should give casting a go, even if it looks hard, or even if you have a lot to learn. I think he's done unbelievably well in the short term that he's been doing it. I love the accent. The Canadian accent is Artosis. I'm casting Artosis today. It's just... I sounded Welsh there, I think. I totally botched that. But just the way he pronounces Artosis, it's so cool. Makes me and my silly South African accent just have a good chuckle. Okay, he definitely knows that the space is here, because the sunkens be sunking. And the lurkers ain't being here because he skipped it. This is our crazy Zerg. Oh dear. One up ways to fire together. He's committing here. Wow, he's pushing out a lot of sunks. He's killed most of them though. And our Zerg's looking in a spot of bother here. This is definitely working out pretty nicely for Artosis. All the mutas go down. All the sunkens go down. This hatchery is toast. And this really, really gives Artie an opportunity to capitalize. I think he could potentially now look at taking a third base of his own. It's going to take ages for our Zerg to come back from this. 89 plays 47. He is... I mean, is it really... It's pretty much GG already, isn't it? It's got to be close to it. So what do we have? We have 2 Ultralisk Caverns. Why? Somebody please explain this to me. You cannot tell me... Oh wow, he's done it on purpose? I don't know, he's just rushing the Ultralisk upgrades or something ridiculous. But yeah, we could take a 3rd now if we were RT, no problem at all. And we could just go from being ahead to miles ahead. Just scanning everywhere. Also has a Marine here to confirm what he has. I think he's in disbelief, like now that he's taken out that base, he does exactly what I was hoping he would, which is to expand himself now. But now that he's taken out that base, it's kind of the question is, well, where are you? He's placed little Marines to confirm where the Zerg isn't. And so by process of elimination, there's just not that many more spots for him to have a 3rd. So it just goes up here to confirm. Nope. So it really is that, it is the truth. He does just have 2 bases. And now he's sending out the speedy space cows. Dun, 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 to go and cause some drama. Hi guys. Yeah, stem up the 1 Marine. Rip. Yeah, I mentioned earlier, you know, like Artosis has 20-30,000 people that show up to watch him every single day. I mean, the impact that he's had on the casting landscape is just unreal. I think the leading YouTuber before he started casting daily and building up Artosis cast for the last sort of 4 or 5 years was Falcon. And Falcon was probably getting 4,000 or 5,000 views per video. Some would do better, some would do worse. But he was the first caster that I came across that can do this 6 days a week. Falcon, I mean. And when Artosis arrived on the scene and grew, he kind of blew this idea that there's a very small audience of daily YouTube consumers of Broodwar casts. But I also think that it's got to be the rise of Seawall, because oh wow, he just tanked a whole heap of Scourge to hit a factory. That's fun. And the vessels that he did want to target are now running freely. I think the rise of Seawall definitely has a big part to play, because without Seawall we don't have free access to ladder replays, and that is predominantly what Artosis is casting. I don't watch him that often, but I do every now and again check in on what he's doing, and it does seem to be the ladder replays of Korean pros. So it's low-hanging fruit from a content perspective. But yeah, I mean, what he's done for the casting landscape is unbelievable. It really does blaze a trail for people like JJZ, myself, TNSC to a lesser degree, to show up on YouTube and, you know, get his sloppy seconds, as it were. Right? Because, I mean, I doubt that there's 30,000 people that are watching him and there's another few thousand that aren't, that are coming to watch us. There's got to be some shared audience. This little pod of Marines is going to meet its end, but this base has been discovered. So yeah, him being the leader on the platform by a country mile definitely opens up doors for others, and it is cool to see more people entering the casting scene. It is fun to do. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot to learn when doing it, and I'll talk about that maybe in another video. We have so much bio here. Look at this, man. What are upgrades looking like? 2-1 bio, and we're going to attack somewhere, right? Where are we going? Our Zerg has been allowed to expand here. Our Zerg is busy expanding here. Our Zerg is busy expanding here. So the remit to our friend Artosis is to not get his army split, please. No! Oh, well. Now they're all kind of... These ones aren't helping. Please help. Please help. Please help. He's got to go kill bases, is what I was trying to say. And before his army got a little split off there. This lonely control group is stemming up here. And it's going to fight against one drone and an ultra. And some retreating ultras that are very quick. And they've been sandwiched together. Now it's kind of trying to come up on the high ground. And the others are kind of like, bro... Okay, so these are pretty low. Artosis is going to knock down this hatchery without any resistance at all. Does hold on to the spot. Knocks this down. I think this is probably the next position to target as well, so that's done. The game will go on while our Zerg's got bases, that's for sure. Crazy Zerg does seem to do pretty well against SK Terran. And SK Terran does seem to be the only style that Artosis is willing to play in this match for the time being. Just in terms of recent games of his that I have watched. So, yep, as predicted. It's going to move across here, knock this down. But the map's pretty split, right? One. Okay, that's not a base, though. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. And our Zerg, who was 43 supply versus 89 supply not too long ago, still, I think, fair to say, very much in this contest. Absolutely not a foregone conclusion here at all. Not too many drones here, but resaturating quite nicely. Quite a few Scourge. Still 2-1. 3-2 will kick in pretty soon. We're getting some dropships again. Now I've got to keep my eyes open. This is where the challenge of casting starts to come in. So where are we going to go and drop is the big question. Physics lab? Ooh, we're going to maybe get some battle cruisers. That you don't see every day. Okay, so he seems to be regrouping his forces towards the middle of the map. All the while he is trying to execute a drop here. Not really microing his units though. A couple of archers are going to come and tidy this up. And sadly not a whole lot was accomplished there. Meanwhile, we're moving up to the top left position, which is also a high value newly established target with a lot of sunkens here to break, but no lurkers. So this Zerg is just seems to just love ultras, although he's now adding defilers. So ultra defiler is potentially a dynamic that can pose a few challenges, especially because we're on hive. No doubt that he's got crackling power as well, and hasn't played with lings yet. I would not be surprised if we start to see a few come through. A few radiates on some ultras. Running his ultras around from pillar to post. Does pull away here, so decides not to try and press this position. She's got so much static defense. Is this like some kind of turtle crazy Zerg? Can we call you a crazy turtle? Is that a thing? Can I do that? I think I'm going to do it in here. Look at the number of sunkens, man. I mean, this is just nuts. Crazy turtle Zerg, for sure. Kind of split off the army here, but everybody's participating, so I think these ultras are going to get picked off relatively easily. 175 still plays 112. Artosis at this stage only has one mining base, so that is my concern for him, is that he's going to run out of money if he doesn't establish a new source of income very soon. Conga-lined units here, a little all over the show. What is our next strategy? I don't think there are any clean bases to target, but I don't think that's the strategy here. The tactic for Artosis, in my dopey opinion, is if my opponent is turtled, my opponent's got a huge amount of sunkens, doesn't have a huge army, the name of the game is surely got to just be to expand and grind it out and not press here, because Artosis' last condition is he loses this army and is unable to continue to replenish it because he's just going to run out of money. Oh. Here goes the vessel. There's just so many seconds here. going for it. And of course, that's the flip side of the coin, is if he does commit and knocks down a critical base, he can end the game as well, right? So maybe the argument is to hedge his bets, do this and expand at the same time. I mean, he doesn't need doesn't need a lot of units to expand behind this. He's got good map control. Got unbelievable map control. I'm hearing some battle cruisers. Hello! Alright, so this is Sunken Man. So his solution to playing against Sunken Man is to become Battle Cruiser Man. So you're going to have to make a lot of Scourge, and he doesn't have that much gas. So this actually is a bit of a master stroke from a tactical point of view. Artosis does have the command center here, just hasn't landed it. And yeah, these battle cruisers are doing some work, man. So the remaining units are tidied up, but he's got a huge mass of reinforcements here, including even more battle cruisers. So battle cruisers will come and tidy up these remaining lings. This base will be established, and now I'm feeling a lot better for Artosis. He could pretty quickly establish yet another base behind this as well if he felt he wanted to. Battle cruisers are still having a very good time here. Nice squishing of those two ultras. Just the mortar cannon going off. It's going to press this position again, which is... all his tech is here, I agree, but there's not that many hatcheries. So, potentially not the most high value target. That being said, hello? Bro. I think he transferred a whole heap of SCVs here. And they were killed by 2 Zerglings. Sad. So a very good example of the challenge of casting, like keeping an eye on absolutely everything that's happening, focusing on the minimap, thinking about what you're saying, commentating on what you're seeing. It's hard. It's definitely harder than it looks. And I'm by no means the best at this. I happily admit that I'm like turbo amateur. But it's something that with practice you get a little better at. But when you first start, you just sort of underestimate how much there is to learn. Damn, these medics are not having a good day. Guys, we have a shortage of medical professionals in the world. This is not helping us get our next generation of nurses and doctors into the industry by just wrecking them all the time. Please protect our nurses. Please protect our medics. Thank you very much for saving at least 6 or 7 of them. Otherwise, that would have just been like Armageddon vibes, man. Okay, so this base is up and running, which is very, very positive. This base I thought was actually going to be an Artosis base, but Zerg's just decided, nah, mate, I'll just take it for myself. Runtime. Marine still is just confirming that this base hasn't been taken. Where are we in this game? I find TVZ very, very hard to call because it feels like Terran just pressures all game long, has all this map control, just attack, 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 attack. And then suddenly, whoop, the tide turns and Zerg just wins, right? And I've did a game, Hero versus Light, and I felt that that was what happened there. I was totally blown away by how the pendulum swung in Zerg's favor in the late game. So I never, ever, 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 ever go, yep, no, this is all sorted. Terran's definitely winning. Especially when I can see the amount of red that I can still see on the map here in this match. Okay, fire bats are in the game. Let's go. Lots of static defense. A couple of spores here though, so I think you should have no problems getting this down. And there's not a lot of drones here, but this is a very valuable target. No counterattacks or anything else that I can see on the minimap right now. We have stopped on we've stopped with the drops. We had one sort of relatively unsuccessful drop and we decided that we're not remaking dropships or giving another go. Kind of abandoned that. Switching into battle cruisers though I think was a pretty good call. It was a great counter to the sheer amount of static defense that the Zerg has been using. Oh dear. Scourge and Plague battle cruisers, that's going to be the end of those. And does knock down the hatch. I think he can pull his units away here. The desired damage has been done. The Ultras are running outside of the protection of the Dark Swarm. So should be able to pick those off. So using these battle cruisers defensively. It's got one mining base. Zerg's got one, but it's not saturated. 2, 3, was 4. So still got 3 mining bases versus 1. That is my concern because the supplies are getting a little bit closer. So now I'm a little bit like unsure of how to interpret the status of the game. This is a key engagement here. If Zerg holds these bases, I fear that Artosis is going to run out of steam. Sunkens go down pretty quick though. They don't get protected by the Dark Swarm. Only the Ultra's underneath. So stems up. This Ultra kind of running himself into grief. A little bit of a flank here on the other Ultras coming in from the south. Picking himself up a whole host of drones. Another Dark Swarm coming up. But the Marines are kind of on the other side of this, and they're just trying to get themselves as many drones as they can. Slowing down the econ and the Zerg are really good. 80 plays 118. This is really, really, really close. Pulling away his army. Trying to micro these fights as best as he can. It's been a hell of a game from Artie, this one. Both players have really fought valiantly. Our Zerg was way behind at a certain point, but just kind of macroed his way back into it. And it's just been a really well-balanced contest from two pretty equally matched players. 71 plays 123. The rule of thumb usually is that Zerg needs 75 supply to survive. We're getting very, very close to that, though. The action remains here. Absolutely no doubt about it. More and more drones going down. Reinforcing Ling seems to be the solution. This Ultra's kind of just standing here. And it feels to me maybe like our Zerg is waving the white flag. Nope. Throws down a Dark Swarm, fighting valiantly to the bitter end. 129 plays 68. The two battle cruisers that have been chilling over here now get brought into the action as well. He doesn't have anything to fight air, can make a single pair of Scourge because he doesn't have much by way of gas. And I think that these battle cruisers are going to eventually end up being the difference makers. Yes, he's tidying up what's here, but Artie's got a heap of reinforcements that he can deploy. This is clearly the most valuable target that Artie can knock down. These two bases wins him the game. I think he's got it, guys. I think he's got it. This was an absolute cracker of a macro TVZ. A very, very good pivot, I think, from standard SK Terran into battle cruisers. And it worked really, really well. Great game from both players. I am expecting a GG and or tap out from our Zerg any moment now. Got a Yamato gun on a Yamato cannon on a lava. Why not, man? Some Hydras finally hit the field. We're not so. This is very unusual, I must say. We watched an entire TVZ with not a single lurker being made. I can't say that I've seen that in a long time. No Wraiths were made, no Valkyries were made on the Terran side, but we did see battle cruisers, which you don't see very often. Our counter attack is going to be quite comfortably held here, and our battle cruisers are going to systematically destroy this very, very critical base, leaving no mining bases left of our Zerg, and with the exception of this one, which is totally open, which is where I expect Artosis is going now. So slowly but surely applying the hand around the jugular and ending our Zerg. Throwing down the irradiate for good measure. And that's that. Shows a respectful GG. Taps out. That was a really good game, guys. Before I sign off, I actually want to have a look at the resource stats. I felt that our Zerg would have been miles behind in that regard. Did mine more gas and more minerals, but Artosis traded more efficiently, and a lot of good tactical based on our lovely split map game. One of the reasons why Polypoid is such a favorite sort of balanced map. So that was an excellent match. I really, really enjoyed it. Well played to RT. If you stayed with me to the end, thank you very much for the support. Please do leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Rabbit Roo, and until next time, you take it easy.